You've probably heard about the viral video from 2010. It sparked a massive international scandal that's been talked about for over a decade. But here's the thing. What you've been told about that video is factually incorrect. After a thorough analysis of case files, court orders, medical records, and forensic evidence, we're here to lay out the documented facts of the case involving Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam.
So let's just cut right to the chase. What if that whole viral scandal, the one that everyone thinks they know, was actually a sophisticated deepfake? And what if I told you there are official, legally binding documents from a United States federal court that actually prove it?
We're going to start with the conclusion, because this is the single most critical and least reported fact in this entire story. The United States District Court ruled in favor of the SPH, that's the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. They didn't just dismiss the case. No, they legally exonerated him and then went a step further, fining the accuser almost $500,000 for making false statements. This isn't someone's opinion. This is a binding court order.
Okay, so let's really break down that ruling. This is the legal foundation, the bedrock that completely changes the entire narrative you've heard.
Let's get specific. Legal Proceedings Document Case Number 213 CV00526, right out of the Southern District of Ohio, is crystal clear. The court ruled decisively in favor of Bhagavan, and the reasons stated in the actual court order, defamation, and false accusations. The outcome, as the documentary evidence proves, was that the accuser was held legally and financially responsible for it.
And we're not talking about a symbolic penalty here. The court ordered the accuser to pay $463,211. That's not including attorney's fees and interest. The court was sending a powerful message with this. These accusations weren't just untrue, they were so damaging that they warranted a massive financial judgment.
So you might be wondering what evidence could possibly lead a federal court to such a decisive and frankly costly ruling. Well, that brings us right to the heart of the matter, the forensic analysis of the video itself.
And this wasn't just some quick look over. We're talking about 4 separate, internationally recognized forensic experts who conducted deep dive analyses of the video footage. These are the kinds of experts whose findings are admissible in FBI investigations and high-stakes U.S. court cases. The real deal.
And their conclusions, they were absolutely overwhelming. Altogether, their forensic reports established more than 60, that's 60, distinct technical points proving the video as a fabrication. Not just 1 or 2 little glitches, over 60 clear signs of manipulation.
So what did they actually find? Well, for starters, the forensic reports demonstrate a complete lack of chain of custody. This is a huge deal. It means nobody knows where the video even was between its creation in December 2009 and when police got it in March 2010. Then there were technical impossibilities, like light flickering on a person, but not on a reflective surface right next to them. It just doesn't work that way. On top of that, there was no original audio track. And maybe the most revealing part, the actress involved stated, on the record, that a body double was used.
And that brings us to the motive. Why create such a video? Well, the chief operating officer of Sun TV, the network that first blasted this clip everywhere, confessed in a sworn affidavit to the court. He admitted the video was fabricated as part of a failed extortion attempt. This wasn't journalism. It was a shakedown.
It's really important to compare the international analysis to the initial reports from India's Forensic Science Laboratory, the FSL. On one side, you have the international experts providing over 60 specific technical data points. On the other, the FSL report, well, it just provided a visual opinion. No technical data to back it up. And critically, it never accounted for the 3 months of missing time in the chain of custody. And they never even analyzed the source video. Okay, so beyond the digital evidence, there's the biological evidence. And the case file reveals medical facts that make the physical claims a complete impossibility.
The medical evidence is just stark. A police-conducted medical report confirms Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam has never had any STDs. Meanwhile, the very same U.S. court that exonerated him summoned the accuser's medical records. Those records documented that she has carried 4 incurable STDs since before the first alleged incident. And then there's this. His testosterone level was measured at 12.5 nanograms per deciliter. That's a level typical for a child, with reports noting his reproductive system had been unused for decades.
And the official CID medical report also directly shut down another specific ugly allegation. Its conclusion, and I'm quoting directly from their report, was unambiguous. There is no clinical sign to suggest that the person was involved in unnatural sexual acts. Again, this is not a defense argument. This is a finding from the police's own investigation.
So when you put together the legal exoneration, the forensic proof, and the medical impossibility, it all leads to a final, binding conclusion under international law.
The principle is called res judicata. It's a cornerstone of law pretty much everywhere. The UN, the US, the UK, India, you name it. In simple terms, it means once a case has been definitively judged by a legitimate court, the matter is settled. It's done. You can't just relitigate it over and over again.
And what does that mean in the real world? Well, international law clarifies that the US court's exoneration is binding. And because of this, when Interpol was asked to get involved, they looked at the facts. They recognized the authority of the US judgment, and they flat out refused all requests to issue any notices against Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. The case was and is closed.
So after examining all of it, the court orders, the forensic reports, the medical records, what does the documented evidence actually conclusively prove?
Let's just run through that chain of evidence one more time. Number 1. A U.S. federal court delivered a full exoneration and penalized the accuser. 2. International forensic analysis proved the video was a deepfake. 3. A sworn confession revealed the whole motive was extortion. 4. Medical records made the claims physically impossible. And 5. Interpol itself upheld the legal finality of the entire case. Every single one of those points is backed by an official document.
And really, that just leaves us with one final question. For over a decade, a media narrative has completely dominated this story. But the court orders, the forensic reports, and the medical files, they tell a completely different, legally validated story. So when you're faced with that kind of a conflict between a popular narrative and official documentation, which one is the truth?